just would release that door, thank you. Okay, we're on the record, everyone. Good evening. This is a caucus of the Jersey City Municipal Council. Today is January 22nd in the year 2019. I have just silenced my phone, which I hope all of you will do. We have a 5:40 start for this meeting.
You want me to silence my phone?
President roll call, Councilperson Ridley.
Present.
Prince Airy, I saw her moments ago. She'll be here. Councilperson Baggiano. Prince Airy is present.
Here.
Councilperson Baggiano.
Yeah.
Yun. Here. Solomon. Here. Robinson. Is not present.
The princess is here.
Rivera.
Here.
Waterman.
Here.
President.
Here.
Okay, we have 8 members in attendance with Councilperson Robinson absent. Take it away, Council President.
Good evening, everyone. We don't have many people, but before we get to the staff and everyone, it's a courtesy. Councilman Young has to leave early for personal reasons. And you had a couple of matters you wanted to address, Councilman Young, before you go?
I'm back. I ask because understand the councilman because today is I lost my mom like 8 years ago. So we have
It's the anniversary.
not now.
Anniversary.
But you have your.
We have like a memorial service. You know, they usually hold the memorial service after someone was down. So I have to be there because usually I will. So things happen. Just a few things I'd like to ask the council present. That ordinance 4D that asked the Councilman James Solomon. 4D, the first reading, 19-06. Yeah.
Second reading.
Yeah, that's the second reading. Second reading is the 4D. Yeah, that because we received several what are they called? The email from the the peoples regarding for that John parking this area. Any ideas you come up with anything?
Yeah, so discussion with the BA and with Ross and Council President. So a couple people reached out around the issue of being able to park near or around City Hall when it comes to public meetings of any kind, whether it's a council meeting or planning or whatever. And the proposal that we had started to discuss via email was the two municipal lots in the back. BA says it's 110 spots, although obviously some have for council presidents, but to basically create a policy and signs that say, something along the order of Monday through Friday, 5 to 11 p.m., available for City Hall parking, public meetings only, as opposed to just open residential parking. Do you want to say more about it?
Yeah, sure. So right now, the lots during the day are monitored by a parking attendant during the workday, around 8 a.m. to around 5 p.m., give or take. And it's for employee parking only, but at night and weekends it's open to the public right now. The signage is not great, I'll be honest. So, but if we're going to update the signs, it's probably a good opportunity to update the policy if needed. So happy to take suggestions from the group. Also, we are looking at Mercer Street to think about adding more spots along there. We're thinking about angle parking. The street's a little wider than most of our normal streets, so we think we can fit it. We'll circulate a draft of that design if we can make it work, hopefully soon. But that would have maybe like 6 or 7 more parking spaces. Drop in the bucket compared to the tens of thousands of people who live here and who want to be coming through here, but I think any number of spots would help at this point.
So in other words, we're going to more utilize in the City Hall employee parking for the general public meetings attend.
Yeah, and that's the policy now. So right now, anyone in the public.
But it's still now it's open to public.
Yeah, at night, after work hours.
If you can find a spot. And
so
Brian, I'm sorry.
No, so what would be the difference? Because right now
It's open to public.
like they park right now. Like when I came in tonight, I didn't have.
Most people don't know about it, right? So
Yeah.
it's underutilized in that sense.
Well, if now
So-
we let the word out, then you're gonna have the residents around here that
They will
already
park
don't
there.
know about it, parking there. Like there's already tons of residents that park there now.
My
at night.
proposal would be, and I correct me if wrong, would be to put signs up that specifically say, and because it's a lot, I don't think we can pass an ordinance that says it, that say, Monday through Friday, 5 to 11, it's basically municipal, like public parking for municipal purposes only, right? So you wouldn't just open to the neighborhood, anybody can park, you would specifically say that it is for municipal purposes. Obviously, it's not, enforcement can always be a challenge, but the goal is to try to make it clearer for people that it's for city hall parking, not for the general neighborhood.
I'll take a step further. You and I discussed it, just similar to some like hotel parking lots and things of that nature, that it would require an investment, but you put one of those gates and things where you take a ticket out, and then if you're coming in for a meeting, you get a validated ticket to says that you can get free parking, right?
But then we'll need a security guard down there to do that, right?
Yeah, but we have one,
We have one
No,
during the
he leaves
day.
at 5.
an evening we have one.
Yeah, we have until 4 or 5.
He leaves.
So you would probably need an attendant later in the night,
You would
and
have
you'd
to.
probably need some technology, and so, it's talking about investments to these lots.
Brian,
Yeah.
this week on Facebook and on social media, somebody spreading around the rumor that the lot was sold to a certain developer around here. We stopped that 2
We have
years ago.
not sold, no, we've
Yeah,
not sold the
I
lot.
know it hasn't been sold, and I put it on there, the lot is not sold. And we stopped it 2 years ago when they did want to sell it to city here. And the excuse was redevelopment said, oh, they had to take it because they wanted to plant trees and stuff. And our answer to that is maybe, we're not that stupid. So the lot is not going to be sold. That was supposed to be the annex building over there. That's where it was supposed to be.
Okay.
So
The other thing, hold on, I just want to add, so Brian, you wanted to talk a lot of parking.
Yeah, I want to confirm the limitations on a policy like that for this lot.
Okay.
We'll work
So here's, if we can't, the commitment that I'm willing to make to you guys too is, if we can't come, within 2 months, we can't come up with a workable policy here, because this ordinance doesn't get implemented for 4 months. So if we
For how many?
can't, 4 months.
4 months.
So if we can't come up with a workable policy in 2 months, then I would go back and revise the rules for the meters around here and put them back to the 6 p.m. Start time. The reason I think this is better is if you put the meters at 6 p.m., people who are going to take advantage are not just people coming to City Hall, but it's people going to the restaurants and people in the neighborhood. You can't guarantee that parking, which is why I think doing the municipal lots makes more sense. But if we can't work out a solution, then I'm happy to change the meters in 2 months from now. Does that make sense?
meters is another form of taxation.
Try the meters. Try the meters first. Because we have problems when we come in.
One at a time. Councilperson Waterman, then Rivera.
I think that's gonna be challenging even when we come in, like evening meetings. And there's other meetings, like planning meeting and other meetings that's here also. We're gonna have a challenge parking, because then we ain't gonna know who car it is, and then we have to go through the process.
It's a very, see,
Rivera, then you, then Councilman.
Obviously, if you're doing the angle parking, it's for more parking spaces, right? So was the community, did we reach out to the community and tell them that these are our plans to do this? I mean, to the residents that live right here?
We are literally just studying it now. We don't know for sure if it'll actually work, just because of all the measurements. But if we can design it and it fits, we'll share with people. Yeah.
then,
Go ahead. I'm just lost then, so this is the second reading today, are we discussing?
No. The angle parking on Mercer is not related to this. Just another thing we're working on separately is sort of.
so this is what's going to be happening. If you open the signal behind the parking lot, doesn't matter which side you put it in, end of the day, people who live in this area, they're going to take it.
They're gonna take it.
You know what I'm saying? Because they are actually, first number one, they're already here. You know what I'm saying?
That's why I suggest a ticket.
But
right?
you'll
So-
open it for more, if they take it now,
Yeah.
and it's less, but the moment you open it up and make more aware of it, it's gonna be more, and that's gonna be more frustrating.
Because if it's a ratio space in the car, if it's close to even, then those things are working. But the demand of space is this much, but the space available is only this much, so it doesn't matter when you open, you're gonna be close problems.
Right.
So when you have a ratio, the space and the demand and supply, when you close each other, yes, even though you open 2 more extra space, make a difference. But this case, demand is this much, space available this much, so it doesn't matter how much you bring the demand down, still short is a big short.
Well, what I will say is that at this point, the lots are open at night, and I live down the street and I'm here all the time, obviously, rarely do I see every spot full. So I don't know if we're at that point where, you know, the lot is not sufficient. So I don't know. I mean, it's worth a discussion.
Okay,
It's a
so,
discussion. That's
Yeah,
it.
it's worth a discussion.
So once you open it up.
my strong recommendation,
Thank you.
because a councilwoman, former councilman Candace Osborne, bring up the issue she tried.
She tried too.
We tried, but I know that the people in this area, that's what they're looking for. But City Hall, unfortunately, they provide and the meeting spaces citywide, every board members, the board meeting, and not only that, even though afternoon, even though they have no board meeting, a commissioner meeting, or city council not meeting, but other city functions going on by different organizations. So it's going to be very difficult.
Yeah.
So you put your all after my recommendation, maybe after we public hearing, so listen to public, maybe we table it, you know what I'm saying? And before we enforce something, we gotta come up with some kind of solution for the public, you know what I'm saying? Without solution, we tried 3 months, we'll see, I think that's not right for the general public because they're trying 3 months, if she get the ticket or I get the ticket, then we get pissed off.
Yeah.
Sure, so I think the challenge is, right, so this proposal affects hundreds of streets. And there's an incredible set of pressures on the amount of parking here. You can have my, firm commitment that within 2 months that we have a firm proposal on how to deal with City Hall parking. If we cannot get the spaces around the back to work, I think the council president's proposal is good. We have to make sure that we can make it reasonable. If that doesn't, then I'd be happy to, commit to that proposal. We have, 2 block radius around City Hall. We can revert to the old rules, which wouldn't change anything, but it would not, go back over to those old rules to protect people's ability to come to meetings. I would rather not hold on the entire proposal because we have, time is of the essence, and the moment we pass this starts a 4-month period to start to put hundreds of changes into place that people have been, meeting and talking with. So, like I said, you have my 100% commitment that
This is the
to
key
work
word.
out
Right.
When
the
the
City
people
Hall
get,
issue. Yep.
you see, like especially zone parking,
Yep.
because they have a no zone ticket, if they get ticket, cost is $110.
Right.
So if you guaranteed as a councilperson, if we over the 3 years, what they call the trial period time, if anybody get ticket because of the new ordinance by the joining ticket, so if we're city going to be waived, that's a different story. But when the people, because of the new ordinance, when the people get $110 a ticket, it's a lot of money.
But the ordinance doesn't apply for 4 months. It has written in there. There's a 4-month period.
Question to
Yeah.
either Councilman or VA. How does this sync up to our timeline with Park Mobile and rolling out that?
Yeah, Park Mobile, we hope to launch in the next couple of months or so. The stickers and the signs are in transit to us in the mail. And then we're obviously going to do some outreach and communication and have to put new signs up. So, the timing is going to be around the same for this and Park Mobile.
So in theory, if this rolls out the same way, there would also be a possibility of doing a separate City Hall zone that is synced up with Park Mobile to have
We
them
could, yeah, we could.
allow for, or an extension on like a break on the meter price or something along
Yep.
those lines.
Yep, you can dynamically change meter prices. We could take the lot behind the building and make it a Park Mobile lot, so the sign says, you have to, whatever it is, residents are free and non-residents are $1, whatever you want to make it. And
So
then,
in order to use the Park Mobile, you have to have the meter. Because you have to designate the space.
you don't, you could do
But
enforcement through
people
license
not
plate
only park
reading.
the car in the meters in this area.
Yeah,
People park the car non-meter area. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, so
See-
what you can do is, we're actually working on acquiring license plate readers. So if we did City Hall, the lot behind the building, a license plate reader vehicle would just come through, scan all the license plates, and it would sync with Park Mobile automatically. If one of the license plates comes back as not being registered in that lot, then they would get a ticket.
So each to say that, then my next question, can you bring up those kind of system, update system in 4 months?
The Park Mobile, the pay portion of it will be in place in 4 months. The license plate readers, I don't have a timeline on that yet.
Because one of the complaints, Councilman James Allen made there, when we do the heights for the Zone 16 racial parking,
Yeah.
people, they forgot to get the renewal license, I mean the permit. When you get $110 ticket, it's a lot of money. If we say that we should review that part of it, $110 is a whole lot of money. It can be somebody's like a, you know, like a 30 or 20% of a whole week's paycheck. So we look into that matter. So all the councilmen might just want to concern. So Councilman James Elman put a lot have to provide a better parking situation. He's resident in Ward E, but we as a council as a whole, we got to look at what kind of negative impact for the people who participate in city event or meeting. So that's what we're.
That's true too.
Okay, now, Council President, 10F, the resolution 10F. This one, British Administrator.
Any other questions, Councilman?
I guess we're done.
You want to do?
He has to go.
Do you just want to do 4D, or do you want Michael's questions, and then we'll come back to these?
Okay, so 10F.
Let's just take care of Michael. And
Okay,
let-
sure.
10F,
Yeah.
there's Washington Street, 311 Washington Street. I think this city council passed the resolution, like last year, we, as an exchange with the developer, 6 units we own.
Right.
We give the 2 units to the developer, and the exchange with the developer gonna be renovate the 4 units, and we actually transfer that 4 unit to JCRA, and the JCRA gonna be sell the unit to maximize dollar. Those money will be go to affordable trust housing account. That's what we agree, and that's what city council proves that they give the permission to transfer the units to city to JCRA. Now we come back to us, we ask to pay the bill again. So where we stand now?
Right.
Can we get
Because
it up?
of something we passed the resolution,
We sure
Yeah,
did.
they're gonna
if in the city,
provide
yeah.
You can provide us with information about the status of this?
Yeah, I can give you an update tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
Yes.
Not today?
So we,
Sorry.
But we
don't wanna vote on
we
this.
still do own the 6 units, the 6 condos?
Yes,
Well,
that's
we have an
correct.
update in
And
writing,
we've
right?
had it for
Sorry.
some time now.
We
Like,
received
is
an
it-
email?
Is it just sitting here? Does somebody live there? Like,
Nobody, it's a
Oh, it's not an update on the status of this?
So, Council
Get
President,
something out tomorrow morning then.
Council President,
Yes.
this is what it is. This is gonna make me utterly upset. And this city council passed a resolution last year to whatever the city law department agree with the developer, 2 units to give to them, 4 units to renovate it, and we're gonna, all those things we passed
Passed
already.
already.
Nothing done yet, and when the Caucus
So-
council have no information, I'm gonna provide tomorrow,
Okay.
then we should hold this
I
one,
got it.
table it till,
I agree with the
yeah.
councilman, so
Yeah,
we,
that's right.
all
the
right?
council should,
We
I
already
agree, we
passed
should
this,
remove
yeah.
it until we get an update
Right.
Right,
on that.
thank you.
And I know you'll have it tomorrow, but the vote is on Thursday, so let's just defer this till February and to provide them with information at the next council meeting.
Yeah, do you have info on that? Yeah, okay. Steve's gonna answer.
I've been dealing with this for years and years and years.
Okay, good.
What the councilman's talking about is the agreement with the developer to fix 2 units, and he would pay for those 2 units to be fixed. The other 5 would get transferred to redevelopment to sell at market rate, put the money into the Affordable Housing
Yes,
Trust.
we're aware of
Fund.
this.
Problem is, he only fixed 1 unit.
Absolutely.
He only fixed 1. There's 7 altogether. The developer fixed 1. So the
Okay.
6 that are left is this resolution to pay the maintenance fees until he finishes fixing the second one, and then gives us back the 5 that he's supposed to fix to get to redevelopment.
Okay, so that's insufficient, so that's
Right, it is.
I
inadequate
don't know the timeframe
response.
on how much time
Yeah.
he gave, but that's the
That's what I was
status.
gonna say, like, what's his timeline?
Just leave it
Let's
there.
table it and let's come back to this.
You
next-
involved many years, thank you for your effort, but the answer is not good. No.
Yes, agreed. You have a event to go, family gathering,
What's
okay,
next?
go along.
So, 10K,
10K?
10K is a DPW issue. Thank God first, I'd like to thank to Pat, we get more money than last year. You know, we get to $423,000, but my concern is that,
Recycling grant. Yeah,
you know, promote the local recycling.
Come on, Pat.
You see, $423,000 is a lot of money. So now, what kind of promotion plans you have to spend the $423,000. Do you have any budget for itemized where you're gonna spend it? Or you don't have any spending plan yet, but then we got $423,000?
That'll be coming up on our next budget, our capital budget, on our ideas on what we're going to do with that money. Basically, it has to go back into the recycling. It goes into the general coffers. It'll be used for recycling, to pay the recycling collection, and other programs that we're in the midst of creating right now.
So the reason I'm asking that, Jersey City average recycling rate is almost 9%. So we are far below the national recycling rate.
That's correct.
So it's $423,000. Instead we spend wisely, so we try to increase our recycling rate more than now. So we like to say, as a council, we like to see more itemized, detailed plan where they're going to spend the money and what kind of concept based on you're going to spend it.
Right, we have some representatives here from Innovation, all right? And they're going to probably go into more detail on the recycling, but we're in a process of pushing on composting on a school scenario. We're in the process of putting in a pilot program for composting. We're not satisfied with the number we got. I mean, to keep that in mind, if you look at the sheet, you'll see that we're one of the highest in what we've achieved so far. We, like you pointed out, we're only at 9%. So we have between now and next year to even do better than what we've done the previous year. So it's a foot race, basically. So the more we can recycle, the better the number will be. But keep in mind, there's going to be a plateau. Eventually, you're going to hit to a certain point, and then that's it. But that'll help us out because our tonnage for solid waste will drop, and that'll compensate. But this money, the way we're planning on using this money is for educational purposes. Also, this pilot program, it's one of a couple that will probably be coming down the line within the next few months.
So you're going to be working with your department? Innovation to work together, right?
Yes.
So come up with some innovative idea to spend wisely, spend.
Would you like to add on to that? Did I miss anything?
I think you did a great job, Pat.
When can we expect that budget?
Excuse me?
When can we expect that itemized budget of?
I mean, we can
I'm
do
in the process
we
of
can do
doing
what
that
we
right
do
now.
with the budget hearings and submit the budget to council. I don't know if we need it separately.
I mean, there's going to be some recycling equipment, some more, different items like that, that we're going to be spending the money on. But the main thing is going to be for our recycling efforts as far as educational programs and the pilot program.
Okay, so now another one is a 10L. 10L.
Yeah.
So this is my major concern is that the land owned by Jersey Parking Authority as a municipal parking lot. And we sold this one with a restrict deed to the Hudson Community College.
Yeah.
So now Hudson Community College use that lot. Anybody from there?
Yes.
Yeah.
For the college.
College, yeah, can I? Yeah.
Yeah, you want to come up and we'll talk about the project?
I'm pretty sure anybody visit that area, they use the parking lot. When they pay the car parking lot, they pay.
You can say.
Private parking rate, not the municipal parking rate, was it? So in other words, HCC own the land, and they lease to somebody, private company, and the private company use their lot to charge market rate of a parking fee, not municipal rate. Then their business was a property business. Did we, city officials, collect property tax in that lot? Almost that lot is like, how many lots? 7 lots. Because in other words, Hudson Community College, when we Jersey Parking Lot give up our parking lot, municipal parking lot space, give it to the Hudson Community College, use for the lot for the student, but instead of use a student, they use more lot, lease to some private company, and they lease that lot to charge their market rate of the parking, not the municipal rate. So then, in other words, they do take our land, and the commercial use, then they should pay property tax, do they pay the property tax?
I'm not sure what taxes they pay on what, but I think it's worth discussing
Maybe
the
they
project.
pay parking lot tax because of private company, but do they pay, Hudson Community College pay the city of New Jersey City have property tax because they use for profit?
We'll confirm with the assessment.
Can't you do that? Because other than that, this one we should be discussing with. The reason is that now this land, we're gonna sell that there. What company is that? What place was it? We're gonna sell to?
So to be clear, we've already sold a lot. It's not ours. We're just
Yes,
removing
but-
a deed restriction on the lot so they can do some things with it, which they're gonna.
So now, who's gonna be interested to buy?
Do you want to just describe the project?
Jack Curley, just identify yourself to everyone who does it for you.
Yes, John J. Curley, C-U-R-L-E-Y, and I'm appearing for the Hudson County Community College. The property was purchased by the college in 2005. It went through an eminent domain process at that time, but the parties reached an agreement, and it was a deed transfer. The use of the parking of the lot at that time was for public parking.
Yes.
And the proposed use is for a new building for the college. The college is in the process of trying to move most of its buildings onto the southerly side of Sip Avenue. The intention is to put on the market and sell the building at 70 Sip Avenue, which used to be Statewide Savings Bank years ago. That building, of course, is in the Journal Square redevelopment area, and I believe it's in the core district. The purchaser of that property will clearly build a building and put a tax rateable on that property, so that what is now not a tax rateable, it's just a parking lot, will become a building that will be tax exempt because it is the college's tax exemption. But the college will be freeing up the 70 Sip Avenue building, which is of substantial value for development and would be taxed.
So the reason is that that's the keyword. Because when we give the land to, parking lot give the land, like sell the land to the Hudson Community College, one reason, use as parking space.
The land was not sold by the parking authority to the college. The land was sold by the parking authority to a private enterprise, which conducted a parking lot business on the land. The college bought the land from that private enterprise. It did not interact with the parking authority.
So, Jersey City Parking Authority sell the lot to private entity with restriction deed. You only use for this lot for parking lot, correct?
There was a restriction in the deed,
yes.
correct.
So now Hudson Community College purchased the lot. Now use that instead of use a parking lot, when you use to build up the building, then City of Jersey City should be claimed some kind of extra dollars from the Hudson Community College to remove the restriction for the land. Because when we sell the lot to the private company, because we print the deed restriction, only parking lot, that's one of the reasons we sold the lot probably below the market value. If anybody is a businessman, they understand what I'm talking about. Simple. Yeah, MBA, you know that.
Okay, sorry.
I would say this, the highest...
I mean, that's a common sense because when you sell the land, here's the lawyer is there. He's smiling, he knows what I'm talking about. When you sell the land, the house, with restrict, then they're usually priced below the market value or some discount available. Because why? They're restricted deed. You cannot able to so and so. So the guy purchased a lot as we're going to do only parking lot business. So maybe we sell it cheaper than at the time at the market, below the market. Now, Hudson Community College knows that they have restriction, so they're going to buy the lot probably because of the restriction. Hudson Community College paid less money than market value, and then they come to us to remove the restriction. Then First place, we charge that to sell the land below the market. Now this is the time we should be, yes, we're gonna restrict the deed, but you gotta pay the market value of the land.
Before you address that, I just want to clarify, because you said the private entity purchased it from Parking Authority and they sold it to Hudson County Community College, is that correct?
That's correct.
But you said earlier that we completed the sale, I thought. Maybe I'm incorrect.
Say right.
To be honest.
Okay, I just want to clarify, that's all,
Yeah.
I just wanted to...
So
I want
that's,
to point out that at the time of the purchase, which was in 2005, the highest and best use of that property was for the use that it was being devoted to in parking. And the private enterprise was represented by a law firm, McCurdy of Brisket, in connection with the eminent domain action.
so
I guess I would say, I don't know that we could assume that it was sold back then at a lesser value. We don't know, I mean, unless you have other information that suggests that it's...
So there's a common sense actually.
Okay.
So it's a common sense because, you know, we have a great lawyer in Jersey City, Stephen Nugent. He's still in the corner. Probably he knows what I'm talking about. So bottom line actually, we sell something we not get back. When we should be business administration, when you remove the restrict from certain deed,
Yeah, no,
we should be, when you sell
so
any
you're
land,
saying we should get a commission on this?
not a commission, actually, they have a different price. When you do that, we have a city which is entitled to claim that 10% of a difference of the so-and-so. Why not?
I'm not sure the statute of limitations
Yes,
was for 13
no, not
years
a
ago.
statute, it's a contract. So we can put any word if both parties, mutual parties agree. It's nothing to the state statute. Take a look.
Are we sure they haven't been paying the 15% parking tax?
No, but Councilman Yun is saying that the value of the land is higher if there's no deed restriction.
Sure. And
So
we
we should be charging
Sure,
more
we gotta
for
charge
that?
it, we gotta get the revenue we get. It's common sense, that's what they sell the land. Okay? All right.
Noted.
And another one, see,
Yeah.
so 10M.
But we didn't sell the land to them.
10M?
You're saying we should charge them a fee for removing the deed
Yeah,
restriction?
so like if you get the tax abatement of the building, when the years ago,
Legally.
when they transferred the
What is the-
ownership, we get 10% of the difference.
Right.
Well, we cannot get it.
Charge for a deed restriction.
I'm just asking the law department if legally that's
Because it's contract.
possible, and it's an interesting idea.
Right,
Yeah,
it is.
both parties, as long as both parties agree, you got nothing to state statute.
There's nothing to do with state
None
statute.
of it's
If you-
contractual and I don't know if it's permissible, I've never heard
Like if we
such a
lift,
thing.
so for example, we'll lift like an affordable housing deed restriction
Yeah.
for a house so that they can sell it at market rate or something like
Right.
that, right? After they fulfill their commitment, they've lived
Yeah.
here because they had some corp grant or some other HUD funding, and so we'll lift that, and then when they sell it to somebody, maybe for a market rate value or something, do we
There's
we
affordable
enjoy in
housing
the,
and there's a sale.
The
I don't know that
benefits.
you have either one of those here. I don't know,
So-
it's novel to me, I've never heard of it.
No, so maybe you don't, but that's the way they do. And even affordable housing units, when the ownership change, they have a restrict. You can sell your house after 5 years, but you cannot sell the house more than so much.
Right, because it's
So that's the way we
restricted.
can protect new buyer, continue their
Right.
place, able to provide affordable housing
Housing
units,
use.
other
Right.
people.
Right, that's true.
So what did?
Other than that, we cannot protect of people who need, looking for
For
affordable
affordable
housing. So please look into them.
Yeah, we'll look into it.
Okay.
Look into it, yeah.
And the 10 ends, this is very interesting.
let me just ask, Jack, so what are you building there?
It'll be an approximately 8-story building, which will be a place for classrooms, administrative offices, meeting rooms, and other amenities.
You know, I'd like to tell you something. The people around that whole area are getting tired of Hudson County Community College building, building, building. We'd like to see some private industry, private corporations come in there. You're taking up all the most valuable land in Journal Square. And a lot of people are getting really annoyed with this. And I think it's wrong. I think you should find another place to build your buildings and leave Journal Square alone. And leave it for business and, for business.
Councilman, we have a lot of students that take advantage of the fact that Journal Square is a transit hub.
Yeah.
In addition to that, we will be freeing up the 76th Avenue property, which is at least as valuable as this property development.
Between New Kirk Street, between what you're doing, it's like you're taking over all of Journal Square. And believe me, I'm getting a lot of complaints from people that are really tired of it. I'm just telling you what the residents are saying.
Jack, besides the academic building, academic purposes, will you have parking still, or there will not be parking?
I don't think there's a final plan on parking. We would like to establish parking for the students. They do get discounted rates at the existing parking facilities, but there's also the staff and the professors.
See, reason is that when we purchased, City of Jersey purchased the old PSNG building, which is owned by Hudson Community College, we pay full price $9 million, you know what I'm saying? And when we give us this kind of land, we should get something back from the Hudson Community College, you know? But long story make short, good luck. And to make sure they provide us some parking, area. And the other land issue is that BA and our law department look into when you restrict and remove the restriction on the deed,
Right.
then we should get some share too. Because land values are different. Because we changed it.
Okay.
All right, 10M. This is very interesting. 10M.
M like Nancy or?
Yeah, M like an area.
M like Mary.
Yeah. So City of Jersey gifted loan to this organization $800,000 to purchase a 5 lot. There was a 2018, last year. Okay, City of Jersey CDBG fund gifted money to this organization. I'm not going to name the organization. $863,000. Give the loan to purchase the land, 5 lot.
It's not a secret.
Right, it's not.
Yes.
We're gonna have a meeting with them, aren't we?
We're looking to schedule that.
So
yes.
now,
We did it.
now less than years, now they're gonna get the loan from one of the banks, $1.2 million. And they say that we are the first mortgager now. If they get the loan $1.2 million, so the bank want to make sure they are the first, City of Jersey is second. But they printed the appraisal. The property was recently appraised $2.59 million. That means 2.59 divided by 5 lot. You know how much each lot? $518,000 a lot. Even though you buy lot in Jersey City High, prime location, 25 by 100, is not $500,000 yet. How the hell this location have more than land price more than height? I mean, less than years.
Who did the appraisal?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
So March, I'm going to clear, March 2018, $863,000 divided by 5 lot, that means each lot costs $172,000. Does it make sense in that area?
So we'll get more information about the.
Yes, please.
This should be pulled until after we have the meeting, Rolando, because after the last meeting, it was completely unsatisfactory.
This is, I mean, what we talked about was with them, and we'll meet again, is homeless services.
Okay.
We granted about that. It wasn't about constructing
We sent people
affordable
around to
housing.
them around in Hudson Gardens, and they're sent back, and they, and a couple of people in the community want to go to the meeting, because you put it on, or you sent me a message or something, we're going to have a meeting with them. Or Marlene, I think you sent.
I was just following up and about setting up a meeting. That's all.
I think we should have the meeting, this should be
So-
pulled, we shouldn't give them anything.
Business admission?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you say price of 5 lot, 2.59, that's a lot include improvement or just a lot itself? If my question is that if we just lot, they inflate the price too much. If they say that lot plus improvement, then how the hell they can appraisal there was no improvement is there.
Sure, I will, I'll get you more info.
Yes, please,
Yep.
okay?
Yep.
Yes, it should be pulled,
So
because you
what
know
we
what?
gonna do with this?
If the council wants to, we can withdraw it, I mean.
I think it should be withdrawn.
Yes.
Yeah,
That should
until
be
we find
withdrawn. 'Cause
out,
you know
yeah.
what?
Sure.
So what do we need to do before it gets back on the agenda?
We need more information about the appraisal, is that it?
Yeah,
Okay,
because
sure.
the council
No,
president.
that's Councilman
Is it
Yun's
just the
request.
land
Councilman
or-
Boggiano was a
Okay.
different,
Yeah,
Councilman Boggiano was a different request. so-
I think Garden State has to give us some more information on
Yeah.
a lot of things.
On what, exactly?
We had the meeting, I don't want to discuss it here on other things.
On the homeless programs and services.
Homeless program, the apartment, the buildings, and everything.
Okay.
So now, the 10P, resolution 10P,
Yes, 10 feet.
yeah, this is Health and Human Service Department.
Yeah.
Margaret is here.
Wait,
Yeah, Margaret.
10 feet.
This is another actually concern.
How many more items do you have, Councilman?
So, a couple more, and then that's it, I have to go.
You ain't out yet.
You know what, I'm pretty sure this is one, all the council members, the same questions probably have.
Go ahead.
I'm not the only one.
I'm sorry, Councilman, which
The
item
10P
is it?
like Peter.
10 feet.
What's the title?
What's the title?
It's an agreement with the Center for
I don't
Court,
have the agenda in front of me. Yeah.
it's an extension of an agreement with the Court Center for Court Innovation, a project of the fund of the City of New York to provide technical assistance and training.
Okay.
Folks, Councilman Yun, before you speak, Mr. Curley, thank you so much. Everyone, Hudson County's leaving, okay? Everyone's okay?
Thank you.
All right.
Wish they gave Jersey Jack, I swear.
So now, this program, when I brought it the first time, I was concerned, but this is what it is. We give the contract December 2017. And at the time, contract period was 6 months.
Yep.
To July 1st, 2018, contract amount was $140,000. But over the period 6 months, they only spent $30,000.
Correct.
And so now, that 30,000 means that July 1st, 18. Now, they want to spend, which is 6 months, they only spent $30,000. Now, they want to spend 7,000, and the 7 months, they want to spend $100,000. How they can do that? They cannot even spend the $300,000 in the last 6 months. Now, they are able to spend $100,000 less than 7 months. How they can do that? What kind of program? So in other words, Council President, this committee, this council, should be looking to their program, the value of their program really is working, and they say that they do their technical assistance and the training. I like to know what kind of their technical training assistance they provide, how many kids joining, and what we get. I need the valuation report from the Health and Human Service before we discuss.
So we need the report too?
Yes, you gotta provide it, because you know, I'm not feel comfortable to spend 7 months, they're gonna spend $100,000.
Right, so as you pointed out, this contract was awarded way before I started at Health and Human Services. I'm sorry that Director Flanagan couldn't be here tonight. It's my understanding that she was leery of awarding this contract to the group, but did so with the guarantee that they were going to provide for us a plan for violence reduction in Jersey City in coordination with the municipal court. Right. So when the contract term was up, they had only billed us for about $34,000 worth of work. That was in July, by July 1st of 2018.
Yeah.
And then we just decided that we weren't going to pursue the rest of the contract with them. They weren't doing enough work. You know, we thought, okay, they're slacking on this. We're just not going to pursue it. But then Director Flanagan was instructed that we had to fulfill the terms of the contract, let them finish the work. So that's why we had submitted a resolution extending the term of the contract. We initially had submitted a resolution extending the term of the contract in late November. But then CCI came back to us and said they actually wouldn't be done until the end of January. So they needed an additional extension.
Key word is very simple. What was that? What was that? When we make contract 6 months, $139,000,
Right.
because of that company, consulting company's program for 6 months for $139,000.
Right. We weren't pleased.
Then last
with-
6 months, from the December 17th to July 1st of 2018, what kind of program they provide service?
Right.
In other words, they don't do nothing.
Yeah, they have been conducting case studies. Yeah, so I know. Like I said, I haven't been involved in this.
Folks.
Yeah.
You said that we were advised that we should let them, that we need to fulfill
We were
our
required
end of
to.
the contract of the 139,000. But why are we required to fulfill our end if they haven't fulfilled their end?
Right, I have questions about this as well. Like I said, Director Flanagan was the one who was given the information on this, so I'm sorry I don't have more details about this, and I'm sorry that she couldn't be here, but I will have her send in writing to all of you tomorrow exactly what the reasoning behind this was.
Well, could they come before the council since they want
Yes,
to?
they should be,
Yeah.
those company come up.
You have an invoice here for,
Contract, they can
folks, you have an invoice here for a period of July 1st, 2018 to September 30th. 18. So they're invoicing us for some work. I'm not sure what the scope, what the work was done. There's no detail.
Yeah, they
there.
haven't given us the final report yet.
Yeah.
So,
I think there's questions as to what they're doing, right?
I'm fine with that.
okay, you could just withdraw it until,
We can withdraw.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
until they let us know.
So, because we are uncomfortable, you know what I'm saying?
I completely understand. I think you guys deserve answers on this as well, so.
And look,
Did we
council,
withdraw either L or M?
We withdrew M
M, I thought, so.
P, you got that right.
NP.
and F.
and
Okay, your next item, Councilman.
so this is the last item, so, I don't
Let's
miss
go.
that. So Z10Z9,
Z9.
yes, we hiring this.
We're gonna withdraw that one.
That's withdrawn.
V9?
Which one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then I have no further question, Council President, thank you for giving me opportunity to ask you all things once, but I'm going to attend the memorial service for my mom now. Just forgive for me, okay?
Prayers for your mother.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so 10P is withdrawn. What else? M?
M, like Mary. F, 10F is withdrawn, and then 10Z9.
Right, and 10D2 is withdrawn. We got a notice from the fiscal officer, DPW, to withdraw it, but it's shown on the Z2.
And what was it?
It's just a paperwork issue.
Okay.
That's correct. Thank you.
I hope it's not.
Okay. Kate, you're up. Kate has
Z2 is withdrawn. It's shown on the agenda.
10H.
Maybe not on your agenda, but it's withdrawn.
Hello.
Well, we, as you may know, the city received a grant, a Resilient New Jersey grant from the DEP. We haven't signed our grant agreement, however, because the DEP is requesting a number of documents from all of the municipalities involved, and there are quite a few as part of our team. We're working with Bayonne, Hoboken, Newark, and Hopes, Iron Brown Community Corporation, and Hudson County.
Did we announce what resolution we're here for 10H?
10H.
Adopting the State of New Jersey Citizen Participation Plan for Community Development Block Grant Disaster Recovery Sandy Recovery Program.
Yes, one of the requirements from the state is that we adopt a citizen participation plan according to their state standards.
So is this the actual plan that's enclosed here, or is this?
Yes.
This is a plan for citizen participation? I'm not, can you explain to me how this, what's the citizen?
Basically, so what's interesting about this grant is that we know that this grant will involve citizen participation, but it's going to be led by a consultant that DEP is hiring and has not hired yet. So basically, they're asking us to agree to a number of stipulations, and they're going to put somebody in charge of the entire process. So we're not even going to be in charge of the citizen participation plan. We're going to be working with their consultant because it's cross-regional. So all of the different municipalities just have to agree to their participation plan for this particular project.
Right, so we have to agree to our participation plan. What is our participation plan? Like,
No, we have to agree to this is the state's CDBG participation plan
Yeah.
to comply with CDBG requirements. For this specific grant, yes. It's not for,
Participation with the grant, not with
Right,
the community participating in the project.
Yeah, with the grant.
Yeah.
Stipulations of the grant.
Right.
we have to agree to participate.
Yeah.
well,
In the
no,
grant.
we,
Yeah.
basically it says that we have to follow HUD's requirements for public notice and comment period. But we also, I mean, like I said, they're going to have somebody, a consultant that they are hiring to do the process, and so we just have to agree to let them set the comment period according to HUD requirements.
And they're participating in what exactly? What will citizens be participating in?
That's a great question. This particular grant basically asked all of the communities to form teams to agree to work together so that they could do a planning project, but they didn't give us much detail about what the project will entail, except that we'll be looking at all of the resiliency issues within our region and coming up with solutions. So the idea is that we involved a number of community partners from the different communities, Hopes and the Iron Brown Community Corporation. So Hopes works in both Hoboken and in Jersey City, and Iron Brown Community Corporation works in Newark and Hudson County. So make sure that whatever information that comes out of the planning process that will be led by the outside consultant will then be distributed to the public, and that the public will be involved with the planning process, which will be 2 years. No, we're agreeing to follow state requirements for
To accept
notice.
the grant, yeah.
It's noticing requirements.
How much are we getting?
Right, how much is we getting? That's the question.
It's I think it's $340,000.
Not matching or nothing, right? Let's just make sure.
Come on up, Melissa. Can you just introduce yourself for the public?
Hi, I'm Melissa Kazakowicz. I'm not sure, I think it's 340,000 total to be distributed amongst the region, which, as Kate mentioned, include Bayonne, Hoboken, Newark, Hopes, Iron Brown Community Corporation. The citizen participation plan is basically the state regulation that we will sunshine our meetings like we do for the planning board, like we do for basically everything else. We're not asking the residents to participate in something that we don't know what it is. We're asking them to participate in a planning process for sustainability and resilience. The HUD funding, the HUD language is coming because these monies are allocated from Sandy recovery.
Okay.
It's resiliency plan, that's all.
Okay.
This says disaster recovery.
Yes, that's where the funding is coming from, it's for resiliency planning, so that if a Sandy were to happen again, we would have a plan in place for how to manage it.
Don't we have a plan?
Vote on that? I mean, something else.
It's resiliency planning, but it comes from disaster preparedness grant funding.
And we are the lead.
We have to have a
in this
plan.
Yeah, we're
effort.
great, yeah.
So who is the lead specifically in the city?
The Office of Sustainability is the lead, but the lead is basically a reporting role.
We had a plan, didn't we? Ryan? didn't we
Yes,
have a
the
plan?
resiliency plan
Right.
was done for the city of Jersey City. This is
Okay.
a statewide.
Okay,
So
because
we
I know
will
we
have
had some
to
type of
adhere
plan.
to our city plan and the state plan?
The state plan will take into account the city plan.
Oh,
It's not a
okay.
state plan, it's a regional plan.
Regional plan.
And if we don't adhere to this plan, then what are the penalties?
Don't get no
You
money.
don't adhere to the requirements that I mean, it's basically just good reporting requirements.
Yeah,
It's not,
If we don't adhere to it, we won't get funded.
yeah.
correct. That's it.
That's the
Yeah,
answer.
that's the answer.
If there was a disaster, we wouldn't be funded?
No, if we don't adhere to the citizen participation plan, we will not be a part of this funding mechanism.
Correct. That's right.
But they're not asking for,
No, we
That's
just want to
fine.
know. It's fine, we just
It's
want to
just
know.
so vague and like, is there an RFP?
It's
Or-
done already. We've
Can we get a
already,
copy of that?
okay.
To see what the details are.
Okay,
Thanks.
that's it.
Okay, Marlene? we got that? Okay. Anything else on that, folks? Okay, thank you. Kate, do you have anything else, Kate? I'm sorry.
No, that was it.
Okay, thank you. All right. Let's do Mel, and then we'll do Margaret, and then DPW. Mel has 10J and 10O. 10J and 10O. Okay, 10J. It's a resolution authorizing the acceptance of a grant award from the County of Hudson, Office of Cultural and Heritage Affairs, Tourism Development. Okay, Melissa, do you want to take it away?
So this is a grant provided by the county, second year in a row that the Apple Tree House has been awarded this funding for historical programming. Last year, the funding was used to produce the first annual History Alive production. They hired Speranza Historical Theater Company to create historically accurate play using the Apple Tree House as a character and a set, wherein audience members would walk around the Apple Tree House and encounter actors telling a story in parts. That's what we used for last year. This year, we applied for the same funding and used the same concept, History Alive, but the play hasn't been written yet. So the $4,500 will go towards the production of the second year of History Alive in the Apple Tree House.
Okay. Any questions, anyone? Hearing none. 10O. It's a resolution authorizing the execution of a memorandum of understanding between the City of Jersey City, the Jersey City Economic Development Corporation, and the execution of a memorandum of understanding between the City of Jersey City and St. Peter's University.
So this is the second round of funding from the state for, they're calling it innovation challenge, but really it's economic development. Our project is to partner with St. Peter's University, which runs Ignite Institute, an entrepreneurship program, and the Jersey City Economic Development Program, to combine the great work that Ignite Institute has done with entrepreneurs and bring that to our nonprofit community so that our nonprofit community can better develop some better business acumen and learn how to take the really great work that they're doing in the community and allow them to build some pathways to financial success as well.
That's with the EDC and with St. Peter's?
Yes.
All of that is? So, has this grant been submitted yet?
No,
What's the deadline?
Friday, 25th of January.
And how much funding are you applying for?
$100,000.
Do you have a narrative for this at this point, or?
I have a draft, but it's in such rough shape that I'm not comfortable sharing it.
Okay. Do you have like a summary of the project proposal itself? And
The summary is talking about the needs of the nonprofit community in Jersey City, about all the different kinds of nonprofits we have, and how they're funded currently, and what we hope to accomplish with increasing their business acumen.
And do you have outcomes, or what are we hoping to achieve here with this funding?
The great thing is that this is a planning grant, so determining outcomes and measurement metrics will be a part of the process, the planning process, should the funding be awarded.
How much?
$100,000.
Questions, anyone? Thank you, Melissa. I'd also like a copy of that RFP as well.
I got it here for you.
Thanks. Thank you. Welcome back, Margaret.
Thank
Thank you. I don't have an agenda in front of me, so what's
You had a 10, which one did we just discuss?
10P?
Okay, so we did that, right? No questions more on that? We have 10Z5, and then you have a late item.
Yes. Okay, so 10Z5 is the contract for the Jersey City Clinic with Dr. Orlando Gonzalez of LifeMod. This is just a renewal of his contract from last year. He's been working in the clinic for a while now, and they liked him enough to bring him back, so.
Any questions about this? Hearing none. Now you got one late item.
Yes, so the late item is a resolution, Robert, if you can help me out with the title here.
Sure, let me find the one that's appropriate to you. Accepting and authorizing the execution of a grant agreement with the County of Hudson Department of Health and Human Services Office on Aging. It's for $365,000 for the Division of Senior Affairs and Food and Nutrition.
Right. So this is our annual grant from the Hudson County Office on Aging, and it is to be utilized by two divisions within the Department of Health and Human Services, the Division of Senior Citizen Affairs and the Division of Food and Nutrition. So Senior Citizen Affairs is responsible for implementing this grant's requirements for senior programming. So right now that includes fitness classes that we have at NJCU. So it's walking 5 days a week, and then swimming and spin classes 3 days a week. And then it also, the food nutrition side is senior congregate meal sites, senior Meals on Wheels, so home delivered meals, and there's two different components of that. There's weekday meals and weekend meals. They're split up in the grant for some reason. And then there's senior nutrition education. So once a month we have somebody come to the senior congregate meal sites and do one-on-one nutritional consulting with senior citizens, and also give a presentation about overall nutrition.
Questions for Margaret on this particular item? This is a late item.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
Is the distribution of funds from the county based on population, or is there a sort of metric they're using?
That I'm not sure of. What they sent to us is what we have, and I can give you the program breakdown for how the money was spent last year, if you'd like to see that.
How we spent it, or?
Yeah, how we spent the grant dollars last year specifically, like how many seniors we served with each portion of the grant.
I'd like to see that, but I'd also like to see how we spent it. If it was spent in salaries, if it was spent on contracts,
and that's all
food,
broken down.
vendors, so forth.
Yep.
The breakdown of all that.
So I have that in my inbox right now. I'm happy to send that to all of you guys. I can do it from my phone before I leave. So.
Can you try to answer the question, not in the moment, but of how they do, try to answer how they break it down across the different parts of the county, what their methodology is?
Sure.
It's a lot of money, so I just want to make sure it's distributed fairly.
Alright, I will try to figure that out, and I'll share that with everybody when I get an answer from the county. Alright?
So I have a nonprofit by the name of PAFCOM receives funding from HHS for various services, doing like Zumba and other things like that.
Right.
Are they funded through this?
I believe so.
Mechanism?
In the past they have been.
Okay, through this specifically?
I'm almost positive, and in the documents that I'm going to send around from last year's, it'll enumerate whether or not they were.
I'd like to see that enumerated.
Yeah.
And I raise it because their funding was just recently cut. They were informed. They originally were funded by the Municipal Alliance, and then that was cut. And there was a change in priorities at the time, presumably, with regard to that. Me being the chairman of the Municipal Alliance approved those changes and those funding priorities, and so then their programming, which was kind of senior-related funding, was then funded through this grant, or I'm not sure if it was this specific grant, but funded through HHS.
I'm almost certain that it was.
And then they were recently informed that they were cut again.
Okay.
And very abruptly, without any notice that the funding would be cut, and also told that the priorities had changed. Now, I don't hear anything here that suggests to me that the priorities have changed, and so I'd really like to have that articulated in detail as to what, why that was done.
Yep, that's the part, that's the senior citizen portion that Joe Nicholson will be in charge of, so
Yeah.
I'll ask her, see what she comes back with.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, everyone.
Hey,
Before we
Laura.
go on, we've got.
Say hello to the
Z-
angel.
We got Z18, Z19. I thought the police contract was gonna be brought up back tonight to discuss.
I had spoken to the BA previously, and I had requested that it not be, that we defer it to February. I spoke with Carmine and others and said we hadn't had.
They called, they wanna know, they thought it was coming back.
I told them directly myself about that. I'm not hiding anything, very upfront about it. You know, at the time, we had no information, and then about the contract, I was grateful that the administration was willing to defer till February until we had sufficient opportunity to review the information. So that was at my request. I'll take the heat for that, and I let Carmine and Vinny, as well as the other members, know that there's nothing there, just wanting to, I mean, it's the most significant, the biggest contract for the city of Jersey City, and we have funding issues with the school funding issue, so we should take some time to at least review the
But let me just chime in a little bit to that, being that we brought it up. I understand the concerns that we have with respect to making sure we look at the contract, but I think that we should have then been more engaged via asking the mayor's office, via asking Shay's office, via speaking with the unions, instead of letting it come to a vote and then bringing it and then asking us to make the decision. We had to be part of this solution back then, not after the membership voted on it. I mean, that's not fair.
I'll share my email with you. As soon as it was tweeted out by Mayor Fulop, I made a formal request for the information, and I was not provided the information. I'm not throwing anyone under the bus. I'm just saying that was the case.
These negotiations were not just born. These negotiations have been going on for a year. You know, so we should have definitely, if we were that concerned about it, we should have been engaged back then, is what I'm trying to say. I mean, you want to hold a baby's hand when he's starting to walk, not when the baby's walking. So, you know,
the contract is still in place. They still have a contract in place. It's not, oftentimes with many of these labor contracts expire and they go out of contract for months at a time. In fact, longer than that. That's frequent and often, not just here in Jersey City, but in municipalities throughout the state and at school boards and other things like that. And so this one is reopening the contract, so there's certainly ample opportunity. There's no hard deadline, is what I would say on that. Certainly, and I'm speaking with Carmine and Vinny about it, understand that the morale is low, and I shared with him that I think the commitment of the council unanimously is that nobody wants to see the low morale, and they want to see our police officers feel valued, and so this contract presumably exemplifies that. But we want to make sure, I want to make sure that we dot the i's and cross the t's, and we make sure that numbers work for the city of Jersey City.
The contract is already voted on, so regardless what we say or what we do, there's nothing that we can do to change that. The membership already voted on the contract. So regardless if we want to amend, we can't. It's already voted on. So what I don't understand here. I don't understand why.
Of course we can. It's not like we can't.
I mean, it's the council to approve it.
Right, we have to.
Right.
We have to.
Yeah, it's up to the council.
So let me get this straight. Wait a minute. So the membership, the police department voted on a contract, and so what you're telling me that if this council wants to amend that contract that they voted on, we can amend? That's impossible.
No, there are no amendments, but the council it's the council's duty and right to ratify.
Vote it down.
All right, the contract was passed on the 10th. Today is what, the 19th or the 20th? That's 10 days.
Was voted on and approved.
And another thing that's wrong, and being with the police department for 36 years, there was always participation by the council in these contracts. This is wrong. We were excluded completely from this contract. We should have been involved. It's just like I walked into the mayor's office the other day to go see, what's the name, Jen or what, and the guy says, oh, I can't let you in without approval. I won't tell you what I said to him, but I'm getting tired of this with the disrespect for this council. It's getting sickening.
My
You know,
concern is just-
this administration, and it's got to understand, this council makes the laws, this council rules. And we're excluded from everything. And they treat us like we don't exist.
If it's our vote, if it's our decision, then we should have been included from the beginning.
I mean, yeah, but my concern is that the purpose of a union is to negotiate with the administration. That happened. The membership voted on the negotiation that was given. So.
But you know what, I understand everybody's point, but part of the breakdown is that maybe it's the administration's responsibility too, to inform us as things go on, to be perfectly honest. Because now the union is going to negotiate with the administration. Now, we have to approve it. At some point, the administration should let us know what's going on. It's just fair.
I would agree.
I think that's the president's, you know, what he's saying right now, right? And Rich, Councilman right here, Bojano, said the same exact thing.
Yeah.
That we left out, and then we're just gonna just go ahead and do it.
Two more weeks now to review it. It's
Do you know we have
at least some information should have been given to the council. I mean, the negotiation went on for, what did you say, Councilman? A year?
After they came to arbitration, then the contract negotiations started again. My concern, listen, and this is just me because I'm coming from a union man's point of view. My concern is that if we were that concerned about this contract, why weren't we that concerned a year ago? Why this council didn't get engaged, regardless if you guys want to blame the administration, blame the union, but we as council people can go to the administration, can go to the union and say, hey, what's going on with this contract? Not 2 weeks ago, last year.
I mean,
and in fairness, it goes the opposite way as well, right? The administration can come to the council.
They can come to us
and share
too,
information
in all
as well.
fairness though.
I mean,
Because there's a lot that we do.
We've had meetings
The truth is though, you may be more engaged in it because that's where you focus at. Like I may be more engaged in housing because I'm focusing there. We all engage in something as a council. And just for us to say that we're a council and we're working together, it's just out of respect that you come to me and say, you know what, this is happening now. That's all, because we all engage in a lot of other things.
Right.
That's
So
it.
what we're saying is that the union should have come up to us and say that.
No one's saying the union.
I'm just saying, you know, I'm just trying to show us the council point of view here. Because we're doing a lot of things too.
But I know myself, Waterman, and Ridley have meetings with the administration, and we ask to be filled in on what's important. What's going on right now, and that's been months, and this has never come up. Never.
This is my
What
first
is important for
experience
us
with
to
the contract.
understand to know? We've asked
stuff.
plenty of times. Talk to us. Tell us what's important, what's coming down the pipe that we should know firsthand. And it was really mum on this situation. Listen, I'm not saying that the contract is wrong. I'm not saying that they didn't do a due diligence in discussing it. But what we are saying is everyone agrees, right? And I think you agree the same way. We should all be filled in.
You know, you have 12 young kids that want to leave this city here and go to other departments.
And they can't.
And they won't sign off on them. That's
Right.
number one. We have between now and July, possibly up to 100 cops that want to leave this, retire because they're disgusted. Then today I'm riding down Baldwin Avenue, I see state police doing off-duty work. You gotta be kidding me. What the hell is this, Jersey City or the goddamn state?
Rich,
It's a joke.
Rich, you and I
I'm not blaming you, Rolando.
And I'm saying
I'm just tired of
we talked about the
what's
state
going
police
on.
thing. I agree with you 100%. It shouldn't be that way, and we'll certainly address that at another time. This is.
And I guess that's part of it as well, because in Ward F right now on Oak Street, we got state police doing off-duty work.
There shouldn't, to clarify, there shouldn't be any state police, so if you see one, just please let us know.
No, they everywhere throughout the city. They're parked, the streets are closed.
Folks, one at a time. Okay, Mira, then Jermaine.
No, I just, to that point, Brian, I know, their issue too is that the state police are not, they don't get out of their cars, they don't direct traffic. They were on Montgomery the other day, they were on another project on Grand Street.
Yeah.
I've seen them around the city more recently. I know that they're trying to shut them down, but it's become very frustrating because I'm also understand that they're getting paid more on their off duty than our officers were getting paid on. So it's, you know, from a morale perspective, even that is going to add to it as well.
Yeah, it's just-
Because they don't
so-
want to get flagmen, because they feel like the flagmen, certain contractors and developers don't want to work with the flagmen. They would rather have an officer in place, and they're going to the state police to do that because they feel it's more official.
We can have Director Shea and Director Moody come to the next council caucus to talk about that, the plan to get rid of that.
Yeah.
And also,
We can't get both of these things, it's two totally different elements.
No, and
We have
I
contracts
understand
and then.
that.
sure, you know, I think that in the interest of communication, it's worth, you know, talking about some other stuff too.
If the contract is going to be discussed, it should be done so in a closed session, and we can prepare a resolution to be voted on by the council, per se, for the next caucus meeting.
Well, let's do that.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
So for this Thursday, let's have a
We'll vote.
folks, we have a meeting, the meeting's on Thursday. Yes, the council meeting's on Thursday.
Thursday, and have the caucus prior to our next, the closed caucus, prior to our next caucus, which will be Monday, February 11th,
Okay.
We'll prepare that for.
at 5 p.m.
Okay. Can we move on to the next item? Everyone okay? All right. And I guess that brings us to DPW, and whoever wants to come, step on up. Pat, Marty, and Steve. You tell us what order you want to go in.
Oh, we can't go them all up together, so.
Again, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Do we need to discuss the resolution in reference to the State of New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection accepting a grant for $400 and some odd thousand
Recycling
dollars? That was for the recycling.
Yeah.
What was the number?
All right?
Any other questions on
That number is 10K.
I just want to reiterate, when we go through the budget, having a, you know, itemized expenditure for that grant.
Yep.
Not a problem. Are there any other questions in reference to this?
There are none. Okay, next.
The next item is 10E, automotive. And this is where, this is a resolution authorizing the purchase agent to sell various impounded vehicles at public auction. We're talking about 133 vehicles that we'll be auctioning off.
Okay, questions? We've seen this before. I guess what's the status for me of the bids, and when does the ordinance officially take effect?
RFP is out. It was due back, I believe, next week. There were some questions that came up.
We're going to delay the due date just because there's some internal questions, yeah, so.
So I believe it's the
Couple weeks.
second week of February,
Yeah.
RFP will be back.
Next item is 10U.
When did the ordinance, remember we put it off, when was it supposed to take effect?
It was, but we held it off for roughly about 2 months,
Till
2 to
when?
3 months. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, we're beyond that, and you were right.
Okay, I just want, so
Excuse
it's
me,
a good
Council
thing we...
President, you were right on that one.
I'm not asking for that, I'm just saying, I want to make sure we don't have the other folks coming back to us,
We're way past the night.
way past, okay.
Yeah.
I've no sense of time anymore, so let's go ahead, let's move forward.
Should have followed your experience on that one. All right, moving along, 10U. This is a resolution authorizing an award of a contract for National Auto Fleet Group for the purchase and delivery of 2 2019 Chevrolet pickup trucks for the Department of Public Works Division of Sanitation through the Sourcewell Purchasing Cooperative, formerly known as the National Joint Powers Alliance. We're purchasing 2 Colorado pickup trucks, each costing $35,896.80. These vehicles will naturally be used for snow plowing and salting on a lot of the smaller blocks that we need to use these smaller vehicles on.
Questions, folks?
Change the name to New Jersey, take off Colorado.
I agree.
Chevy, New Jersey.
Chevy, New Jersey.
Does have the same
Yes, sir.
ring?
So my question is not just for this one, but because there's a couple snow-related purchases.
Yes, there is.
And the first question is, are all these replacements, or are these new
Replacement
equipment?
vehicles.
Okay, so the old vehicles are going out of...
All vehicles are kind of like not running anymore.
They're already out of service.
They're out of service.
Okay, the second question is, because this is all for snow, and obviously we're towards the end of January, you know, what's the timeline on getting these in for Public Works? So we approve this
Probably it'll be
resolution.
next year sometime.
Yeah, it's a few months to.
So we wouldn't get them until the next snow season, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
But if we don't put them in now,
Right.
then if we waited till, it'd be that much longer route. There's such a delay on receiving these vehicles once the orders go through.
Okay. And then do we, how does this equipment match with the personnel, right? So we hire to purchase all these things. Do we have the staff to make sure they're all out in, the storm?
Yes, Councilman, again, these are replacement vehicles, all right? They have a dual purpose. In the summertime, they're basically used for, on routes, particular routes. They could be used for lot cleanups and ever. They're not just used for plowing and salting. We don't have that luxury. So we're always, anything we're buying is dual fold. Sure. The other thing I want you to realize is that this is replacement vehicles. The vehicles that they're not running, the vehicles that these vehicles are replacing are not running anymore. The chassis are broken. They fell apart. Sure. We've got a long life out of them. We've accomplished a lot with them, but they've been they forced us to retire them.
So, but to answer your question, yes, we do have drivers to fit them all. We're also working on more drivers. We have CDL training going on right now. I think it's like 20 more people to get CDL or something like that. So yeah, we have staff to manage them.
Okay, that's helpful. Thank you for both. And then I think Council President and some others have mentioned this at previous caucuses, but do we have a sort of a vehicle maintenance plan or a vehicle acquisition plan, even
got a couple things going. We're purchasing some vehicle maintenance tracking software, which will finally track all the maintenance issues and help us better understand if we're putting too much money into a vehicle, how much we're putting into certain things. But also we're working on a vehicle replacement plan now, going through every single vehicle on the list and saying what we need to replace now and in the next few years, with the intention of down the road having a 5-year or so replacement plan for everything. Some vehicles last a little longer, some a little shorter, but that's the end game.
And do we have, at this stage, can you share a sort of list of the current fleet right now? Is that something that you can...
The fleet numbers, the equipment?
We can share you don't want to share license plates or anything, right?
No, I
but it's a lot of police vehicles.
Just inventory pretty much.
Yeah, not police stuff.
Vehicle inventory, I could probably break it down by division if you want, just DPW, that's fine.
Yeah, that'd be helpful.
Yeah, because when you have overall number, I'm not 100%
sure. Yeah, but if
it's
DPW
just under 1,400, I think, right?
And I still question.
Non-police.
That includes police. That's everything. That's everything. There's a few hundred police. They include unmarked. Yeah.
The majority is actually your police.
Right.
We can give you a breakdown of the snow equipment, or let's say the vehicles that we use at DPW, strictly at DPW.
Yeah, that'd be
give you that.
Yeah, if you give me that breakdown, type of vehicle by division.
And also age of the vehicles.
Yeah, that would be helpful. Thank you.
Can you provide that to
Marlene.
Marlene? She'll make sure she gets it out to everyone.
Thank you.
All right, the next item is 10B.
Can I just follow up on those vehicle replacements, maintenance software and the plan? So, I've asked before, when do you anticipate that being online?
Software, we've done an extensive outreach to various vendors over the last year. We finally got it down to a vendor that myself, my staff, that will be working on this, feel comfortable with. We've had them in, had a meeting about 2-3 weeks ago, right before Christmas. And I spoke with Brian, on it actually last week, and we're going to better we'll present it in front of you for approval at our next council. To authorize us to purchase this software.
For the vehicle software, maintenance software?
Vehicle maintenance software. And as far as the vehicle replacement plan, it's a work in progress. Unfortunately, when you look at the size of the fleet and you look at the age of the fleet, trying to prioritize what should go now or what should go later. I mean, it's a trying task, but we are working on it.
Do you have an estimate?
I don't want to commit to a time frame, Council President, because the BA asked the same question last week.
Yeah,
in between doing daily operations and running the shop.
Yeah, my department's giving some assistance there, so we're trying to get that going.
Yeah, that's basically, with the size of the fleet, I mean, we need to be prudent in how we do this plan. We don't want to present, whether it be the administration and or the council, with off-the-wall numbers of, how staggering the prices are on some of these vehicles can be. So, that's where it's basically, moving around type thing. We could spend You know, I mean, just, I'll give you an example. Last year's capital budget, which we put together prior to replace a lot of the snow fleet, just for one division of DPW was close to $6 million.
Right.
So, you know, there's 5 divisions, Director?
Yes.
So, you know, it's not as expensive, but, you know, we could be looking at upwards of almost $10 million, and this is an arbitrary number only, just for DPW. That's not including our police group.
Yeah.
So we want to be prudent in how we do this.
And I get that, and I get the concern, but, and I'm not wanting to alarm us, but I'm also, I want to have kind of a sober view on what this looks like for us.
I'm going to be realistic,
So
to be honest with you.
some real
I
choices.
don't want to, you know, even on my end, my staff said, I don't want to put all this work into this plan, only to be told, are you nuts? So I want to.
We know that's not the plan.
I want to give you something that's realistic, is what I'm looking at.
And I'll just share it for the record, because it's just for the record. I think the council has some tough decisions ahead of it in this next budget cycle, and particularly capital as well. And when we think about, again, this school funding issue, right? And then we have the police contract, and we're going to make priorities there. So we're going to be making some tough choices over the next budget cycle, I think. And so knowing what that looks like, and I mean, we want to be able to do that and make eyes wide open about what our choices are, and be realistic with the
just to go back
as well.
on that, and from what I've understood from my predecessors, unfortunately, this is why the fleet is in the condition that it is in, because, let's face it, I mean, vehicles are a necessary evil. You know, so when you get into the decision-making, you know, on contracts, on spending, on taxables, I mean, that's the first thing that comes to mind, and usually the cars and the trucks or whatever is usually where it gets pushed aside. And, you know, we're basically, you know, we're putting a tourniquet on a hemorrhaging, you know, artery. So, you know, with that in mind, you know, I understand your point, but I mean, I'll try to work on that a little faster for you.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, next item is 10B. This is a resolution authorizing the renewal of an open-end contract with Lincoln Recycling Service, LLC, for the disposal of various waste types for the Department of Public Works, Division of Sanitation. This is the disposal of various waste types such as construction and demolition, sweeper debris, wood, tires, white goods, Christmas trees, and vegetative waste. This is an open-end contract. DPW spent about $455,000 in the previous contract. Right now, the total contract amount we're looking for is $537,823. Right. Also, we have a temporary encumbrancy of $50,000.
Questions, council?
Yeah, why the extra $100,000? I know you guys do a great job. I mean, Direct, I call you all the time. We get a lot of construction debris just littered on the streets.
What we're doing, Councilman, is by going to Lincoln Recycling, it's a recycling facility. So in turn, even though it's a high number, we are saving. If we went to the county, that number would be over $100 a ton, about $110 a ton. Right now, we're in the range of maybe $75 a ton on what we're paying for. Plus, we're getting recycling credits back on that. So the more that we can divert to Lincoln, the better off we are. And that also helps our tonnage grant with the state, and it also reduces our cost on the regular solid waste from, like I said, 110 down to 75.
So is this our just private city trucks, or is this regional as well?
This is basically our trucks. Regional picks up municipal waste, which is a little tougher to recycle. This would be material that, like it states, a combination of cardboard, wood, you know, cleanup material from different lots that we do service in the city.
But this gets figured into the tonnage grant?
Yes. A lot of it gets broken down. A lot of it's recyclable. That's going there.
So in 2018, the contract was for the same amount. It says we spent $455,000 of that. So that's about 80,000 balance for 2018.
Right.
What happened to that balance? Did we already transfer that, or what did we do with it?
Actually, what happened was we carried it forward for the following year, for the next year. In other words, every year, we don't carry, no. It's an estimate. It gives us an estimate. This is the range that we can go to. That's of that amount that we used in that particular year was what you had said. So there was basically 80,000, I believe, that was left.
And that goes into.
That goes right back into the coffers.
Yeah, it goes into the, back in the general.
We can't carry it forward, like I said. It's just basically we either use it or we lose it, as they say.
To clarify, the 2018 account stays there just in case there's bills that come in later, and then next year it would go into general.
And what I want to also point out, was just brought to my attention, this is the final renewal on this. Next year will be another bid, there'll be a total bid on this.
Any questions, anyone else?
Yeah, I got one. This Christmas trees, right? I've been seeing that other cities are recycling the Christmas trees, like, and turn them into mulch and being able to put them out, because I know we use a lot of mulch in the city. Is that something that we can do moving forward? I know we have the machinery to, you know, turn them into it. Maybe we can use a place such as, you know, a couple places around the city, maybe right here on Restaurants Row, or right by the City Hall Annex, to really recycle the trees that way?
Yes, this is one of the projects that I had mentioned earlier that we're looking to do. The only problem that we have is a lot of the Christmas trees might have different types of ornaments or tinsel or what have you on the tree, which is basically contaminated. If we can get a clean tree, you know, we'll be able to take care of that. We'll be able to recycle that. The problem that we have right now is property, a location to do this. So we would have to have a place where we can bring it in. All right, we do have the equipment. The only thing is, what do we do with the mulch? Where do we store the trees? We had one location on Commercial. That was sold to the MUA. But right now, we are working with the MUA to see about possibly doing that and also asphalt recycling.
So how much do we spend on mulch a year? I mean, because that probably would help out.
I could get you that number off the top of my head. I don't want to just give you a number. Let me be exact on what we spent. I'll be more than happy to get that over to the office, definitely.
And I think if we just send out a letter or at least put some kind of advertisement out about the Christmas trees, because I've seen other cities around the state and the country that do it, and people gladly bring their trees in.
Sure. Sure, I mean, it's something that we can look at. I mean, there are some plans that we have going forward that'll benefit us, and, you know, I don't want to do it tonight because it's, you know, we have a lot on the agenda. But in the future, I have no problem sitting down with the council and telling you what our plans going forward are going to be.
Just on that, this resolution, the date, the ending date needs to be corrected. The year should be 2020. At least on mine, it says 2019.
Yes, 2019 to 120.
So time is going backwards.
Yeah, that would be a problem. Well, we can make that. That's a scrimmage error.
So let me just ask, so Lincoln Recycling collects these things for us?
What happens, we bring the material there, and it goes through a process being a conveyor system. They have a shredder, they have a conveyor system, they hand sort, so wood will go into one pile, metal goes into another pile, cardboard and paper are picked off, that goes into a pile. So he's creating piles, it's a conveyor system.
So essentially it's single stream going in and then they...
Yes, they hand separate, yes. That's why I want to use more of that with a lot of the bulky stuff that we deal with, because in the long run, it's a tremendous savings. Remember, our goal in the next few years is to hit 30%. Any more questions?
Okay, next item.
All right, next item is 10W. This is a resolution authorizing the award of a contract to Route 23 Automall, LLC, for the purchase and delivery of 2 Ford F-550 chassis XL trucks under the state contract for the Department of Public Works Division of Automotive Maintenance. To purchase 2 Ford F-550s, snow plowing and salting citywide. Each cost is $51,478, which gives us a total of $102,956. Again, this is replacement vehicles. These vehicles are not only going to be used for snow, but they're also going to be used in our lot operations and various operations that we have going on at DPW.
I got just one quick question. I know we have Ford in Jersey City on Route 440. How are we awarding the contract?
They're not under state contract, and basically what happens, we would have to go out to bid. And chances are the numbers that we're getting right now through a state contract are a lot cheaper than us going out and going through the expense of just bidding it, and then hopefully asking them to come in and to bid. See, when you're under a state contract, Councilman, what happens is you're dealing in volume. So instead of, let's say, the guy here in Jersey City might be selling this particular item, maybe 20 of them a year, whereas when you're under a state contract and you fall under these guidelines with this type of equipment, they're selling maybe 200, 300 of these units. The price is going to be different. It's going to be a lot lower because of the volume.
Could I get, for all of these contracts, just the balance on these accounts?
Sure.
All these capital accounts? Less these expenditures, I should say. Okay, your next item?
All right, next item is 10X. This is a resolution authorizing the award of a contract to Mid-Atlantic Truck Center for the purchase and delivery of 4 international dump trucks for the Department of Public Works, Division of Automotive Maintenance, through the Educational Services Commission of New Jersey, formerly Middlesex Regional Educational Service Commission. Again, this is another co-op, and this is to purchase 4 international trucks for snow plowing and various other operations that we have at DPW. And each cost is $96,453.
Okay, questions, folks? Next item?
Next item is 10Y. This is a resolution authorizing the award of a contract to Cliffside Body Corporation for the purchase and delivery of a dump body with snow and tailgate spreader for the Department of Public Works, Division of Automotive Maintenance, through the Educational Service Commission of New Jersey, formerly Middlesex Regional Educational Services. The cost on these vehicles is the body cost is $59,998.90.
Okay, any questions, anyone?
Next item is 10Z. Again, this is a resolution authorizing the award of a contract to Cliffside Auto Body Corporation for the purchase and delivery of 2 dump bodies with snow and spreaders for the Department of Public Works. Again, this is for salt equipment for the last 2 of the first out of the 4 that we had mentioned earlier, and the price on that was $43,884.82. Any other questions?
Yeah.
Why the difference in price?
Yeah.
Different type of mechanism. One is, let's say, a dump body with a tailgate spreader. The other ones are basically what we call V-box spreaders, which insert inside of the dump body. And basically, you'll see a lot of those that we have. We're trying to see if it pays for us to run a dump body with a tailgate spreader. That's why we're trying it.
That's what we have now, right?
No, we have V-boxes. You'll see these salt spreaders right inside the body of the vehicle, and they'll be spreading salt. What this is just a dump body. You'll see the body up in the air, and then it has a little bit of a spreader in the back. We're trying it out to see if it'll work. It's a lot cheaper, and if it works out, then you'll see us probably converting over to that, if it makes sense.
Who else is using these?
Garden State Parkway, different municipalities. You know, we have some reservations on it. If you get into an ice scenario, an ice storm, like we had last year, you know, then again, that could present a problem. But it's something that we want to take a look at for the cost. The body's the same amount of money, except that you have a V-box going into the body, which is the salt spreader itself, versus this, what they call a tailgate spreader. But they're used in other municipalities. There's pros and cons. We just wanted to try it to see if it makes sense to go this way.
So what are the cons?
The cons to it is that the body is up. In other words, it's a dump body angled upwards. So as it's going down the road, if you ran into a situation where heavy winds or low wires, there's a chance you could hit them. So this truck is going to be used in just certain areas, and for us to use. If we can always go back to a V-box, put the V-box in it, and take a tailgate spreader and use it for something else.
You might have a lot of cable people upset with you, right?
Councilman, that's a very good point, especially in an ice storm. You have to remember, they have to be at a certain height. You know, this is something that we wanted to try, There's no downside to it as far as if it didn't work. You know, we're not losing a lot of money. We can get rid of it, the tailgate part, and just put a V-box in that we have.
So you mean try both the 59 and the 43?
The 59 is something that we're already using. We have a number of those in our fleet, and that's probably what you're used to. This one here for the cheaper price is something that probably, I don't think you've seen this in Jersey City, so we're trying it out. And that's where the body is up in here.
It's a lot less maintenance also. The tailgate spreader basically can be taken off within 5 minutes. Whereas the V-box spreader, because we use the dual purposes, so after the snowstorm, like after this weekend, this morning was,
I got a picture here of the V-box.
pulling all the V-box spreaders off the trucks so the crews can get out and do work. It's, you know, it refines it, less maintenance, less greasing, it's a lot easier. You know, it is used, the county has
That's a plow.
all that.
Oh, the V-box.
They use, the county uses all tailgate spreaders, park, like Greg said, parkway, turnpike. So we're confident that we're working, it also saves a couple of bucks, so, you know, we're going to try it out.
Councilman, our VA over here has some pictures of what we're talking about, if you'd like to look at them. I'm sure later on he would kind of show one or two to you. There's one that I want to apologize for because I asked him a question and he answered it right, and I gave him the high sign and he answered the question right.
I got a picture of it.
I mean, I saw
Not
the
related
picture,
to the
I just wanted to know the difference.
Yeah.
Right.
I'll be more than happy, if you want to, I'll be more than happy to show you one. Any other questions? All right, the next one here is Z1, and this is a resolution authorizing an award of a contract to Cliffside Bud. Again, this is to purchase 3 V-box spreaders for snow operations, and the cost on that is $65,998 each, which is a total of $197,995.71. This is one of the reasons why we wanted to try this V-box spreader. I mean, not the V-box, the tailgate, to see if it would work. So it's a lot cheaper compared to, you know, using the V-box.
If this is approved, how soon will we have these?
Not for a while.
So you mean next year? Okay, we need
Yes,
to be
I'm afraid
looking
so.
at these in
Or towards the
summertime.
end of this
We
year.
need them for the winter.
We got snow in April, right?
Will we have it by?
I don't want to make a comment on the snow, not right now.
The vehicle body companies are overwhelmed. I don't know, nationally, you know, I mean, a few council meetings ago, you put a contract for a forestry body. They give us a year date just for the body itself. Because the company is just so far behind with, you know, well, I guess we're not the only one buying vehicle, you know, truck bodies. It's nuts.
So are we doing any, I mean, off the topic, are we ordering any extra units for the Parks and Forestry? Because I know last year we had...
we have some units that we did put on order, all right? We did get our grinder and our chipper, if you want to refer to it as a chipper. So we do have 3 chippers. We're utilizing our existing fleet until the new vehicles come in. The only time that we put a vehicle or we retire a vehicle is when it's no longer worth putting money into it, where we're forced. If the chassis breaks, the chassis is the frame. Once that breaks, that's it, they're done. You know, engine-wise, you know, we have replaced engines, we've tuned engines up, we've serviced them, changed brakes. You know, we're trying to get as much life out of them as possible. When you see the report on the age of the vehicles, you'll understand what we're going through. And if you come down, we'll be more than happy to show you the vehicles, and you'll realize what we're dealing with. But, you know, by the time these vehicles come in, the vehicles that we're taking off the road, hopefully everything will work out and the timing will be fine. So we, like this last storm, we had about 66 vehicles out there. So right now we're okay. It's just that you don't know when something's going to fail, especially when they're 10 years plus old and dealing in soil.
No, I know, that's why I was asking about the Parks and Forestry now before the,
Parks and Forestry,
before the summer,
right now,
we have another more crews
they
out.
have 3 chippers now.
Right.
All right, which I remember at a previous council meeting I had brought up. And the trucks that we're doing, we're resurrecting them. It's the best way to describe it, until the new one comes in.
You see them lobbying for more crews out.
I agree
in
with
the
you.
spring.
I agree with you.
You know, I mean, in my ward alone, I know we had hundreds of requests. I'm still getting them in the wintertime for trees, limbs falling because of the storm and ice and
Well, as
wind.
far as, more we, you know, put in more trees and increase our cover, you know, the more stuff we're gonna need. It's just like anything else. You know, I wish it was more of a happy medium, but I think right now we have enough. You got, the council was kind enough to grant us, you know, the capital to purchase this additional chipper, which is a lot larger than anything that we've had before. So we're getting a lot more use, and the older ones were actually rebuilt again, and we kind of resurrected them and put them into use. I forgot my last one. Was that 10Z1?
Yeah, you stopped at 10Z1, 10Z2 is withdrawn. How about I give you a break and read a couple for you, Pat?
Oh, please, thanks.
10Z3, resolution authorizing a month-to-month extension not to exceed 3 months, effective February 1, 2019, of a contract with Temco Building Maintenance to provide janitorial services for the Department of Public Works, Division of Buildings and Street Maintenance.
Any questions?
So, just briefly, we extended, correct me if I'm wrong, we extended this for 3 months, and now we're doing another 3-month extension. Is there sort of a timeline on, you know, when we're gonna put this out for final bid, or get the contract?
It's out to bid now.
Okay, so with this, so can you guarantee this is the final 3-month extension?
Might not even need the 3 months if there's no protest on the bid.
Okay, great.
Yeah, we're just waiting for
It's
the result.
advertised now.
Great.
Okay, Z4 is a resolution authorizing the renewal of an open-end contract with Garden State Building Supply Company for lumber and assorted materials for the Department of Public Works, Division of Buildings and Street Maintenance.
Any questions? All right, thank you very much.
Actually, before you go, just if I could just jump back to Z3. Is there also the security guard contract, just like in a similar kind of boat with them? Like, are they month to month right now, or are they?
The security guard contract is up for an auction in June,
Okay.
and then it's a determination if we're going to go out to bid or do the extension.
Okay, that's it. Thanks.
Thank you.
Director, I just want to say thank you to you and the whole DPW down there for being over-prepared for the last 2 snowstorms. And, you know, we got a lot of complaints about us being under-prepared the last time. But I'm getting complaints about us being over-prepared. They don't want the soil on the streets. So, I thank you for being out there.
I don't know what to say. I don't know which way we go, we have a problem.
I get a lot
Just
of,
remember,
I got
the
a lot
first
of complaints.
snowstorm, if they didn't close the Bayonne Bridge,
That's
the
true.
Lincoln and Holland Tunnel, the Turnpike, Route 3, we probably would have never gotten any complaints. The traffic was, it took us, to get to one area off of, actually off of West Side, it took us 3 hours to come from DPW over there. I mean, the traffic was just, cars had nowhere to go. If we didn't have the traffic, and it was funny because I said to the assistant director, it was at 9 o'clock, I said, I'll tell you what, but we had to go to a meeting, and I think, Mary, you were there for that meeting.
I was there.
And I said, you know what, like 9 o'clock, just to clear up, it'll take us 4 hours and we were done. 4 hours, we were done after 9. So that's what happens. Traffic's a big factor.
Go
Navy,
Navy,
beat Army.
Sink Navy. Goodbye.
Way from the top.
Okay, let's go from the top. Starting at 3A.
I like the top. Special, there are 2 ordinances. An ordinance authorizing the City of Jersey City as tenant to extend for 1 year a lease agreement with 18 Ash Street Realty LLC as landlord for space located at 46 State Street. This is an annual event for stuff for OEM. B is ordinance 19008, an ordinance authorizing acquisition of properties known by the street addresses of 347, 349, and 351, 355 Martin Luther King Drive, respectively, from the redevelopment agency.
Councilman, you're good with this? Go ahead.
Go ahead.
This is your word?
No,
Okay.
but I have a question. First,
Yeah.
can we back up for a second? I apologize. I was walking in as A was ending.
3A?
Yeah.
Okay.
3A, right? So the storage facility on State Street, I remember us voting for this last year to extend the term, right? And so we have a 5-year contract with them with the possibility of extending for 2 additional years. This will be our 2nd year extending. So have we found new storage space for this stuff or no?
I'm not sure exactly if we found another location at this point, but I will get that information to the council.
Okay, so if we don't have anything at the end of this year, which will be 7 years of us renting from this place, then are we going to then enter into another 5-year contract?
That's certainly an option, but let me get more information about exactly what we think we can do. Things have changed in the last 7 years. We have a new public works facility. MUA is now.
That's what I was going to say, because the
Yeah.
concern is also that, you know, they're building up in that area. So now somebody goes to the property owner and says, you know, we like your land and we're going to pay you this much. What do we do with all our stuff?
Yep.
Did Keir send us some memo on this?
Of course, yes, he did.
Was it on this one? I can't remember. Yeah.
No, it was on the bleeder thing.
Put it
It was
back
on the
there.
bleeder.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, now we're on B, right? Okay, so what are we doing with this site at 347 to 355? This is a spot next to Dunkin' Donuts,
This is
right?
next to Dunkin' Donuts. It's currently a vacant lot. It's actually a couple of lots. We mentioned it briefly in passing. We're getting a little more towards a design phase of this. We're going to do a pop-up market there just to sort of bring some energy to the area. We've been talking to Michelle Massey and the Jackson Hill City about this. There's a few benefits to it. We're hoping to have some food options with food trucks, a little bit of seating area, make the lot look nicer. Right now it's just like overgrown grass and garbage, and we're going to fence it and light it and all that sort of stuff. But we're also going to have some type of temporary facility there for local businesses to sell their wares. We're working with Michelle Massey on that. We are hoping to have it open by this summer, but we'll see how things go. The reason why we're doing this ordinance is because the JCRA currently owns it. We are going to do all of the work and the maintenance on it, so legally it was just cleaner just for us to just take it and then down the road if we want to do something else with it, we can always send it back. We've been exploring shipping containers, so if you've heard about the idea in the past, other areas have done, the big shipping containers. They cut a hole in the side and then sell stuff out of it. We're going to try and make that work, but we're evaluating the cost and pricing of that now to see if we can make it fit. It's kind of a weird space for it, so we'll keep everyone posted.
Have you told Jason Burke?
Wait, is he on the shipping containers? Really?
Shipping containers, yeah.
He wants to turn them into housing.
Oh,
I can
yeah.
forward you an email if you like.
Yeah, so there's interesting rules around housing and shipping containers, but let's not get
Fair enough.
I can't possibly imagine what the problem.
Yeah, Ray Meyer has some thoughts on this, but
So, did we reach an agreement with Carol's on Orient Avenue? Because I know that the JCRA lot, they was using the backyard for.
with the grill.
Yes. The
Yeah,
grill.
so we are going to try and build a movable grill for that establishment. So the backstory is that there's an encroachment on this lot. Someone had a grill there for years and years and years, and no one knows why. He just sort of, probably because the land was vacant, and he just put a grill on it. So we're trying to act in good faith here, make him a grill using some supplies at DPW that he can move around the property instead of leaving it on what's technically city property there.
I mean, because this encroachment has probably been there for 20 years before Carol's even got there.
Yeah,
this
right,
has
exactly.
been this is from the previous owner, that box, the fence that's in the backyard has been there. They didn't put the fence up. I mean, I know that.
Yeah, right, honestly,
they put up.
When we first went to the lot, we assumed the property line was where the grill ended, but then we did a survey and realized it wasn't. We had no idea, so.
So no, I talked to the owner. I know that we were in negotiations.
Yeah, he's happy at this point. The last I heard that he's amenable to the plan we set forth. So.
Okay, any questions on the second reading ordinances? I know we beat 3D up pretty good.
4D.
4D, my part.
Anyone on any second reading ordinances other than 4D?
You can do 4D too.
If you do 4D as well, as Councilman Solomon said? Hearing none? Okay.
Right to the top of resolutions. 10A is a resolution authorizing an emergency temporary appropriation.
Can I just talk about the tax overpayments on this, Brian?
Yeah, there's a calculation issue with there's a couple of properties that make up the bulk of this that add the extra. It's about $1 million extra than we anticipated, and we're still working through the numbers. But for now, we have to expand this budget to make sure we can cover it.
This is like reimbursement of tax?
Yeah, it's a reimbursement. They pay too much basically, and it was two big properties, about $500,000 each. It's a pilot property, so it's a weird thing.
Okay. Any questions about this, 10A?
B is a resolution allowing us to establish a dedicated trust by rider for the employer payroll tax.
This is just a separate account for any funds collected from payroll tax, but this is litigation, so we're not taking any forward steps at this point. It's just this administrative thing.
And it's local government services, not legal. C is a resolution appointing Stephanie Santana, custodian of the petty cash fund for the Division of Accounts and Control. She's taking over for Tessie Bulalico, who's retiring on February 1st. D is authorizing the cancellation of tax balances, lot cleaning changes, abatement charges, special improvement charges, and credits of $10 or less for the tax year 2018 and prior years.
The grand total here is $403.27.
The next one we haven't discussed is G. It's authorizing the settlement of the lawsuit of Jarrett Blair versus the City of Jersey City.
So I'd ask the administration to defer this to next meeting. If we could include this as part of the closed session, I would just like to get details on it.
Yeah, I think you should.
What we're settling here.
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah.
Did you receive the memorandum? Should have been brought down.
Yeah. Oh, I missed that. No. So maybe that answers my question. Let me take a look at that.
Okay.
Okay.
If for whatever reason you did not get it, I'm happy to bring out a copy.
I'll take a look at that.
Okay, I is authorizing the city to accept funds from the New Jersey Department of Law and Public Safety, Division of Criminal Justice, on behalf of the police department to purchase body armor, 2018 body armor replacement fund. JK and L were done. M has been withdrawn. N is authorizing the business administrator to execute a discharge of mortgage affecting 1209 Summit Avenue, unit number 403. We go to Q, a third amendment to an agreement with A.R. James Limited, doing business as A.R. James Media, to construct and maintain bus shelters and approving 2 new sites for the installation of a bus shelter. R, authorizing the award of contract to Dell Marketing, LP, for the purchase and delivery of Optiplex computers under state contract for the Department of Public Safety Communications Center.
Sorry, are you done?
Sure, sir.
So I know Bob sent us a note on this.
Yeah.
Just a quick question, Brian, you may or may not be able to answer. We had this question for Bob on a previous one. Do you know why these are being purchased out of operating funds?
Let me confirm with Bob on that.
Okay, and I can email you both. Just to follow up on it.
That works, that's fine.
I just trying to understand why that's happening. Right, thanks, Ira.
Yep.
Okay. S is a resolution authorizing the award of a contract to Software House International for the purchase and implementation of GovPilot software modules under state contract funded by the Department of Administration, Division of Information Technology. T is the...
Councilman Solomon.
I just want, what are we intending to use these modules for?
Yeah, so this is, GovPilot is land management software on the high level. There are a lot of functions of government that this covers. This portion of it is the health parts of it, that health, there's not a lot of options for what they need out there that are technology and software related. So they are going to move forward with this, although we are still doing research on other software for the other portion of land management that would be through HEDC, through commerce, tax assessment. There's a lot of government technology out there. We may go with GovPilot for the rest of it. It would obviously make it easier to communicate with us already having it here, but we just want to make sure we're doing our due diligence. So we may come back with an expansion of this contract. It's all under state contract anyway, so it's all permitted under the law.
What is health intending to use like this money? What's the use for it?
It was inspections and licensing. So right now, the software we have only goes so far in the field. So if they're doing an inspection in the field, or they want to like print out a license or something, it just doesn't do all the functions that health needs.
Can we ask for health to either just write up a memo on why they think this is a necessary purchase?
Yep.
A memo from HHS on why they need 10S.
10S,
Yeah.
10T I alluded to earlier. You all got a memo from Greg Kearse, a resolution authorizing the award of contract to Lawman Supply for the purchase and delivery of bleeder kits for the Department of Public Safety, Office of Emergency Management, and Homeland Security. U, V, and W were done, as were the entire next page, except Z2, which was withdrawn. We did Z5, we're up to Z6.
You said Z2 is withdrawn?
Yes, sir. Yeah, paperwork. Z5, we did. Z6 is amending and ratifying the reauthorization of a professional services agreement with Calcagni and Konefsky, LLP, to represent Eduardo Tolosa, tax assessor, Robert Kakaleski, former business administrator, Mohammed Akil, former chief of staff, and the City of Jersey City in the matter of Roxanne Mays versus the City of Jersey City et al.
This is renewal of a contract. This is referred out due to a conflict.
She was an employee, owner.
So question on, probably this is slightly off track, but when I started, the new year started, we did with the previous corporation council a long closed session where you sort of updated us on all the major cases. Is that something we would, consider doing again, so it's not just, case by case, but just a longer update on all the major cases?
I'd be very happy to.
I mean, I'd be interested.
Councilor, is everyone okay with that?
I don't know if it has to be the next council, but somewhere.
Yeah, I think that I think we should set aside a day for that, or an afternoon for, late afternoon for that.
Yeah.
So that's all we do, because that could take a lot of time.
Right, it did take a long time.
And we wouldn't want people waiting out in the hall for a meeting to start.
Do we want to do that on normal caucus days, or do we want to do that on a non?
Special.
Special,
Yeah,
it has to be special, it can be on caucus.
A day other than, because we can't predict how long it would go, and we wouldn't want staff and others to be out in the chambers waiting for us to finish up. Before rushing through it.
Yeah.
Z7, reauthorizing a professional services agreement with the law firm of Florio Kenny Raval LLP to serve as special counsel in tax appeals. Z8, ratifying the award of professional services agreement with the law office of Werner Suarez to represent the City of Jersey City in the matter of Ann Doyle. Z9 has been withdrawn.
Can I ask a quick question? Is the administration's intention to bring Z9 back next meeting, or do you have an intention?
There is no intention at this time. I would say that cuts in either direction.
Okay.
Z10 through Z16. Worthy recipients of the Eagle Scout Award: Benicio Ortiz, Sean Fuhrer, Oliver Flores Ortiz, John S. Libetz Jr., Christian Mergus, and Cody Christian Ross.
Congratulations.
Z16 is honoring Linda Blackman Lowry on the occasion of Linda Blackman Lowry Day at Lincoln High School. Z17, a resolution approving the appointment of members of the Vacant Property Advisory Committee by the council president.
Council members, these are the three council members who volunteered to do this. Councilman Bogiano also volunteered, but given that it's 3 members, you had also volunteered to be a member of this committee, but you graciously withdrew so that the board...
Why did I withdraw?
Because you spent so much time with Michael already. You didn't need another.
Yes.
Well, just one final thing.
We all do, right here.
One final thing we didn't talk about, it's the resolution Z18 that you got earlier at the commencement of the meeting, authorizing a professional services agreement with ERFS to provide the city with environmental services. This is an amendment, obviously, because you'll see it replete with different dates and amounts.
Can you, Robert or Brian, can you explain, just summarize it because it's new to us? Yeah, what's going on here?
Yeah, I don't know where this came from.
This
is Z18, correct?
Right.
This is a contingent, I think, primary.
This is from Cunha, Joe Cunha.
Yes. I think in the past, this had been under law, it was determined that it would be better to send it to engineering simply because, given the numerous sites that are working on right now throughout the city that do require environmental study.
Oh, yeah.
And the valuable service that ERFS was providing. And these are matters that are going to continue into the future, and
yeah, this type of role requires a certain certification as well, which we don't have right now, so we would either have to hire somebody, which we've actually discussed, but that would take some time.
And it's 100,000 or 200,000? So
it's funded $100,000.
Okay, and but the bill I'm seeing, maybe I'm misreading it.
The unit is 200,000, and we did like half. I don't know why we did the price of 200,000.
Is it a 2-year? Right? Oh, it's a 2-year. Yeah, it's a year price. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Are there any questions on this?
It's 7:46. Motion. Who got the second? Second by Councilperson Waterman. Just say goodnight, everyone. Except Councilman Yun, who's absent. I recorded you present, sir, at 6:22 p.m.
I have one more request before we close.
We're closed.